Guneshri ma'am, can we start?
Madhu?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Madhu.
Can we start?
Yes, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I see R. Madhumita, Sikasa chairperson of the Chengalpat district branch of SARC of ICA. Welcome you to the half-day seminar on the practical aspects of the GST portal. So this program basically aims at only students, enabling them to understand the basics of GST portal, because fundamentally, after learning all the laws, it is practically very important to know how we file the returns and what are all the inputs that we have in the GST portal, so that it will enable us in the return filing. So for us, we have our very own member from the Sengalpattu branch, CA Bhuneshwari, who is the GST faculty, who will help us in this program in understanding the GST portal in a very better manner. Before that, I request CA Vedavali, who is a student committee chairperson, to brief us on the next upcoming programs of the upcoming student program of our branch. CA Vedavali.
Thanks, Madhita, for your warm welcome. So it's an immense pleasure to be part of this team.
You're not speaking.
So we all know that our profession is more of a venerated profession where we invest our brains as such. So we are all expected to be up to date on all the updates of the laws, whichever is coming into our chartered accountancy profession as such. So while the members are being updated on a different forum, we all know, it is indeed the students community who should be updated as well, because they are the future members. So on this journey, SICASA has arranged for a series of seminar programs in the following weeks, which includes practical hands-on training on the GST, that is a TDS return filing, and we have a seminar on AS2, on channel 2, and also some hands-on training on our ROC portal. So the dates for which will be announced a little sooner. So with this brief prelude, over to Bhuneshwari ma'am on the today's topic, effective use of GST portal. I hope all our students will make effective use of this this seminar and make your queries or doubts as and when is necessary, and you can use the chat box for effective use so that we don't affect them without affecting the meeting. Thank you.
I request Mahata, our student committee, to introduce a speaker.
Thank you, ma'am. I take immense pleasure to address the gathering. I would like to welcome C. Bhuneshwari ma'am, speaker for the day. Ma'am holds Master of Commerce degree from University of Madras. She holds postgraduate diploma in financial management from University of Pondicherry. She has been an associate member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India since May 2015. She has also been an associate member of the Indian Cost Accountants of India since June 2009. She is a qualified independent director from Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs. She has an experience of 2 years in VAT and 4 years in GST. She has been the chairperson of Women Empowerment Committee of Chengalpattu District Branch of SARC of ICA for the year 2019-2021. She has also been the chairperson for the Indirect Tax Committee of Chengalpattu District Branch of SARC of ICA for the year 2021-22. Ma'am is specialized in consulting on all GST compliances and issues. She has been speaker in various forums and continuing professional education sessions of ICA at branch levels for GST. She has been the faculty on indirect taxes for both students at intermediate and final level. Currently, she is a practicing chartered accountant and is a partner in Madhubalan and Associates, a chartered accountancy firm. We welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, Bhagata.
Thank you.
Very good evening to you all, and good evening, Veda. So thank you, Madhu, and thank you, Veda. So I'm very happy to meet you again in this session. Like we will be having a discussion on the practical issues on the practical filing and practical working of the GST portal, the entire GST portal. So I will be starting with the few new facilities which have been brought out in the GST portal during the just past 6 months. So we will be having a presentation on it, and I can practically explain you on it. And then we will be having a session on the e-way bill generation, like how to generate an e-way bill, and then followed by the e-invoice generation. So practically we will be going through that. So now let me start with my presentation. Okay, is my PPT visible to you all?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay. Now this is the slide that I have captured for the new facility that have been brought out in the GST portal. See, now this is the functionality. Whenever you log into your immediately after you log into your GST portal, you could see this. You will be able to see this. We will be able to know what is the turnover details for the previous years. So now we have the facility to view the entire turnover details right from 2017-18. So now I have captured here for the financial year 21-22 what is the turnover detail for a particular taxpayer. See, now there are two categories. Here you have turnover detail and the aggregate turnover, which is a PAN based turnover. Now this turnover details is entirely based on the figures that you have declared in your GSTR 3B. So now this functionality is to view the aggregate annual turnover for the financial year 21-22, so that before finalizing our IT returns or before finalizing our annual return, so any changes or amendments, see, as you all know, before September we should be doing all the corrections and the mistakes that have to be rectified before the September or filing of annual return. So by viewing into this option, we will be having an opportunity to correct what are all the errors that we have committed in the year 21-22. So now the taxpayer can also view the exact turnover for the previous financial year. Now this facility is not only for the year 21-22, you have a drop down list here. See, you can find the drop down list here. This drop down list will help you to know the turnover right from the 2017-18 also. And this figure is entirely based on the returns that we have filed, that we have submitted so far. See, the portal also gives you the facility of turnover updation. See, what is the turnover? You can see the button here, view or update. What is this turnover updation? In case if the taxpayer feels that this system calculated turnover is not correct, or somehow the system calculated turnover which is displayed in the dashboard completely varies from the turnover as per your records, then we have been given an opportunity to correct the turnover details. So by using this view and update button, you will be asked to fill the details directly. So whatever your turnover is correct, you will be able to fill that details correctly. You can also upload any proof. See, after clicking into this view button, you will be having a column to upload any document. So it can be a PDF document or a JPEG document. So this can be a reconciliation statement for your turnover. So whatever is correct, you have to declare it, and you can also upload this. Just a proof of an evidence or computation of your turnover in a PDF format can be uploaded. See, this facility of turnover update is provided to all the GSTN of a registered, whichever is registered under a common PAN. Say for example, I have multiple registrations across the states. I have 4 registration which is coming under one PAN. So any change which is made in one particular GSTN of your turnover will be summed up. So that will be added up, that will be grossed up, and that will get displayed in your aggregate turnover in the PAN based column. So whatever any changes if you make in any other GSTN which is coming under the same PAN, that will also get reflected in this column. So now this particular option, taxpayer will be able to amend this turnover details only twice within the month of May. So on or before 31st May, all the taxpayers have to ensure that their turnover is correct as per their books of accounts. So after that, that is after May month, what will happen when you have updated or changed the particular turnover details, this will be sent to the jurisdictional tax officer for their review so that they can have a check on it. So the jurisdictional tax officer, they will be having the powers to amend the values which is getting displayed here. So once they amend, that will be the final corrected turnover as per your books of accounts. See this, we cannot say that each and everyone have to do this mandatorily. Only when there is any mistake or correction in your PAN based turnover or your aggregate turnover, then you can use this facility to correct it, and that has to be done before May. The next facility which is available in the GST portal is this one. The advisory has been given for composition taxpayers for filing their GSTR4. See, we all could have faced this issue. Majority of us could have faced this issue. While filing the GSTR4 for the financial year 21-22, we had a issue with that. So what was that issue? Some negative cash balance has been reflected in the cash ledger. So without making payment of that negative liability, system is not permitting us to file the return. This was the issue faced by majority of the taxpayers. Now what is the reason for this issue? Because during the previous financial year, like say for example 1920 or 2021, what the taxpayer could have done is that there is a particular table, there is a particular column in GSTR4. I've given that in the next slide. There is a table or a column called table 6 for declaring your output tax liability. See now you are making your payment of for composition taxpayers, you are making your payment in GST PMT 08. So tax payment is done through that form. You have to file the GSTR4, which is the return for the composition taxpayer. So at the time of filing the GSTR4, many taxpayers have not filled the table 6 in the GSTR4 form. So the resulting is that you have paid the liability, but the same liability have not been declared in the return. So which states that there is a negative liability. So now this negative liability has been reflecting in the cash ledger as a negative balance. So what happened? People were not able, many taxpayers were not able to file the return. So now, if what the solution given by the GSTN is that for the previous year 2021, if you have declared that negative liability by adding it to your output tax liability, many have done that. They have added to their output tax liability and filed the return. So for all of them, what happened during the month of April 25? So April 30th was the last date for filing the GSTR4. During April 25th, what happened for all the taxpayers, for all the composition taxpayers, the GSTN network, they themselves have created a debit entry in the cash ledger. So what happened, to nullify the effect of the negative liability, they have debited that entry in the cash ledger. So resulting is that negative liability which was appearing in the GSTR4 composition return, it got nullified immediately. But for few taxpayers who have erroneously utilized the cash ledger amount, so excess cash amount has been reflected in the cash ledger, few taxpayers by mistake, they have used that particular cash for the subsequent payment, subsequent quarter filing, they have used that for their payment. In that cases, what happened, the GSTN came up with a clarification telling you that you have to pay the cash again into the cash ledger, so that negative liability will get offset immediately. You have to pay the cash again, and then by way of a refund, you have to get back the paid cashes. So this was the advice given by the GSTN network. So many people they were again asked to pay the tax again, and then subsequently they were asked to get the refund claim. So now this debit of the negative liability, many tickets have been received in the GSTN help desk for reducing it. So finally on April 25th they just reduced that negative liability. I told you, by posting a debit entry in the cash ledger they reduced that entry. So this is the change which happened in the annual return GSTR 4. The next facility that is available in our GST portal is the auto population of e-invoice details into the GSTR 1. See, as you all know now, the GSTR 1 has been linked with the E-Invoice portal, and E-Invoice portal also has a link with the E-Waybill portal. So whatever E-Invoice that you are generating will get auto-populated in GSTR 1. And so you need not even again go and sit and key in all the turnover details while filing GSTR 1. So the aggregate limit for generation of E-invoice as of now, it is 20 crore for all the taxpayers. So majority of the taxpayers have been brought under this particular category, and in future this threshold of 20 crore is subject to be reduced, so like 10 crore and 5 crore. So almost all the taxpayers registered under GST in future they may get covered under this e-invoice generation. So as of now, since more than 20 crores it is applicable, the details that are captured in the e-invoice portal are completely reflected in GSTR 1. So there is a cutoff date for that. Immediately it may not get reflected. Maybe the next day or the subsequent days, you have to just have a watch on the GST portal. Say for example, if you have generated 10 invoices, e-invoices using the e-invoice portal, finally on the due date of filing GSTR 1, which is on 11th. So 11th morning you can just have a check whether all the 10 invoices have been auto-populated. And there are few queries also raised to the customer care of GST, which says that suppose when any of the invoice has not been reflected in GSTR 1, you can also make that manual entry of that invoice details. Suppose maybe any it may be a reason for any technical issues in the portal, invoices are not getting reflected properly. So many queries were raised for this month, because April 1 only we started generating e-invoices. So many queries were raised. So if one invoice is getting reflected, one is not getting reflected. So the GSTN came up with a solution that in case if your invoices are not getting reflected properly, you can just manually key in the invoices. Also you have to check that invoice detail does not exist already. So if it exists already, that will be a duplication of the invoice. So you just have to be careful while checking, while filling up, manually filling up. You have to ensure that this particular invoice detail is not captured by the system automatically. Only when it is not captured by the system, you can manually add that invoice detail to file your GSTR 1. Also in GSTR 1, you have this auto population facility. So the other details like document number, credit notes we are using, we are not using the e-invoice. Only for, as of now, we have the e-invoice generation only for invoices and debit notes. So you have to give the details of your credit notes. You have to give the document issued, that is the invoice number starting and ending for that particular period, for that particular month. Also you have to capture the details of the Enhancement-Wise Summary or the SAC summary for your outward supply. So all those things have to be manually filled in the GSTR 1 before filing the GSTR 1. The next facility that we have in our GST portal is the calculation of the interest calculator in 3B. See, now this facility is very similar to your late fee calculation, like how we have the auto population of the late fees. So per day, if it is 50 rupee, automatically during the 5th day you will be able to find this 250 rupee getting auto populated. The same way this interest calculator is also being fixed in the system. So the number of days delayed filing of the previous month return is usually taken into account. Say for example, the due date is 20th. I am filing my 3B return only in the only on 25th. So for that 5 period of delay, interest at the rate of 18% is being calculated, and it is being applied on the net cash liability, and it is getting auto populated. Though we also have that edit feature, it is not advisable to edit this thing. Because whenever you edit anything, whenever you edit the Gstr one figure also, that everything will be flagged to the proper officer, so that in future if there may be any query raised by the proper officer, so we are responsible to answer that. So it is always better not to edit all the figures. So whatever figures that are getting auto populated, if it is justifiable, please do follow with those figures and don't make any corrections or additions. The next functionality that is available in Gst Portal is that this removal of the submit button before filing of the GST return. See, now so far we had submit button and then file button. So whenever you click on the submit button, what will happen? Your records will get freezed up. After that, you will not be allowed to make any additions or any changes. So your entire records get freezed up. Now that submit button has been removed. So now there is a one-step filing. So previously it was a two-step filing. Now it is a one-step filing, single-step filing. So the only the file button hereafter will be enabled in the GSTR1 form, and this is the contents of the GSTR form. The slide that I have captured is the contents of the GSTR form. Now see, look at the table. The total number of previously we were able to see even the total outward supply value, total taxable value, total invoice value, total taxes, all the total figure were reflected in the just outside the table. Now only the number of invoices that we have filled up inside is getting reflected here. So now this is like a consolidated statement. Now this is like a consolidated filing. Now taxpayers are shown a table wise consolidated summary before filing their actual GSTR1. So now this consolidated summary will be having a detailed and table wise summary for the records that is added by the taxpayer. Now this is going to provide a complete overview of the records. As I told you, you will be able to find the numbers, how many records are there, how many HSNY summary is there, what is the total number of document issued, it is 2. See, look at the number of invoices, it is totally 211. So the complete summary is being getting reflected here. Also you will be able to see recipient-wise summary. The recipient-wise summary is another feature which is added into your GSTR1. So this will contain the total value of the supplies and the total taxes involved in the supply for recipient-wise. So now for the records, for the following records, like you can see table 4A, which deals with B2B supply, table 4B, supplies attracting reverse charge, 6B special economic zone supply, 6C deemed exports, and 9B credit notes and debit notes. You have amended table separately. So now for the first table will show you the original records, original supply detail, and if there is any amendment to any particular record or any particular table, that is captured in a separate separate paragraph. So previously we had all these together in a single page. Now it has been split up. Also you can see there is no submit button. So you have only the file button. So it is a single step filing. So this is the changes, enhancements which have been brought into the GSTR1 filing. Added with it is the auto capture, auto population of the E-invoice details and E-waybill detail. The next facility that we have in our GST portal is the enhanced registration application user interface. Now this is slightly an user interface with a Google address map which is being added. So whenever you file a registration application, GST REG1, there will be a map which has been incorporated. So when you want to fill the details of the principal place of business, you will be having a map which is being incorporated, and this is along with the drag and drop facility of the address, so that when you find any the location, exact location of your address, you just have to click and drop the cursor here. So when the cursor have been dropped into a particular point, the address will get auto-populated. Address in the sense, the map has been incorporated to capture only the macro level, not at the micro level. See, what is mean by macro level? You will be able to know what is the pin code of the particular location. You will be able to know what is the state. You will be able to know what is the district. So that is only the macro level, not the entire plot number or house number, etc. Not like that. So it has been, the autofill is enabled at present. It is enabled at the macro level, so that you will be having the pin number, state and districts which are auto generated. User also, taxpayer also can directly fill up the address input field, which are they are being given with some suggestive input drop downs, so that the user can select the appropriate or relevant address field for this. The main purpose of this is that this will help the user to avoid all the errors in the address text, like spelling mistakes or any other manual errors, manual entry errors. All those things can be avoided. So this will help the filling of the address at a very appropriate level. So at a very appropriate level. And also the address field have been segregated here. You can see the segregation of the addresses, so that this will reduce the confusion while entering the inputs for the various address field. So instead of state, you cannot give some other place name. So state always comes up with a drop down. So you have to select that particular state. And based on this selection, based on the selection of the address, or based on the entry given by the address, the latitude and longitude of the address is also getting auto-populated now. So this feature is also being enabled. Previously we had the option of latitude and longitude, but we never gave that. Since we are not that much technologically aware, we cannot give exactly the latitude location of our address. We just ignored that. But now what happened, after the drop down of the address, the latitude and longitude gets auto populated immediately. So this you can notice when you are filing your registration, filling up your registration form. The next facility that is being given in the portal is the revamped HSN code functionality. This functionality, taxpayer will be able to search the HSN code. See, now I have only given 3 digits. So when I have just given 3 digits, the entire HSN code that is starting with 220 is getting auto-populated here. So just we can scroll down or up, and we will be able to select the particular HSN code pertaining to any goods or services. As of now, only numbers are allowed in the search box. You cannot type the description. When you want to go by description, you have to move this to the next level. So you have to select the description. Now I have selected the HSN code, so that I have to give only the numbers. When you select the description, you will be able to type the keywords for your exact commodity or services. So now on entering the HSN in the search box, 5 nearest possible description will be shown in the auto-populated items, so that the taxpayer can select the suggestion which is most relevant to his case. Also, you have to note that this drop down will show only when you type only minimum 3 characters. So since I have typed 220, then only I will be able to get this drop down. If you type only 2 or 22, this drop down will not get enabled. And also you have the maximum number of characters allowed in this portal. The maximum is up to 8. So minimum 3 you have to start with, and the maximum number of characters is 8. And this searching of the HSN code is based on the trade or the commercial description or the technical description of the product or the commodity. So taxpayer can search by way of entering either the technical words or their trade description of their goods or services. So if you have any particular technical word for your goods, you can also use that for in the search box. So once the taxpayer selects the description option, there is another option given. So one is through HSN, the other one is through description. So once when the taxpayer select through using the description option, they are required to select whatever they want to search for the goods or services. So on entering the description in the search box, five nearest possible HSN codes will get displayed, so that you can select the relevant HSN or the description which matches with your commodity or services. So this is another functionality enabled in the portal. The next one is, these are all facilities which have been brought up in the just 6 months before. I have taken the facility which have been brought up immediately 6 months before. The next facility is the Aadhaar authentication facility in the GST portal. See, as you all know, nowadays Aadhaar has been mandatory for all types of process. See, for right from starting from the registration, only if your mobile number is linked with the Aadhaar, you will be able to even send and receive the OTP to sign up and submit your registration application. So Aadhaar and mobile number should be mandatorily linked with the Aadhaar. The authorized signatory, whoever is going to sign the application form, mandatorily they have to be mobile number. They should have a mobile number linked with the Aadhaar. So right from the registration, and for even for taking up your letter of undertaking. So for every financial year, we are required to take one particular LUT. So for filling up and submitting LUT, before that you have to authenticate your Aadhaar. And the next one is the revocation of the cancelled GST. See, suppose if you have not filed your return and your GST number has been cancelled. So before filing up the revocation application, you have to authenticate your Aadhaar. So you have to, before filing, you have to authenticate your Aadhaar. Then only your revocation application will be a valid one. And finally, for claiming of GST refund, if claiming GST refund, it is mandatory that Aadhaar authentication have to be done in the portal. And few people are exempted from this Aadhaar authentication. So I have also listed out who they are. A person who is not a citizen of India, a department or establishment of the central government or a state government, a local authority, a statutory body, a public sector undertaking, or a UNO or a foreign embassy, United Nations organization or embassies of foreign country. Other than these 6 people, each and everybody are required to authenticate Aadhaar for all these process which I have mentioned above. See, this Aadhaar authentication link can be sent only once. See, once when you click on the send Aadhaar authentication link, after that you can find out that will get disabled. So only one time the Aadhaar authentication link can be sent. Repeatedly you cannot send the authentication link. But what you can do is that you can access your email ID where the Aadhaar authentication link will be sent. You can access the email ID, and from there any number of time you can click the link to verify. So the portal gives you only one time opportunity. After that, the link received in your email ID, that can be clicked many number of times to validate and verify. Now this immediately whenever you log into your GST portal, we all could have seen. So during monthly filing, just the moment after logging in, we can see the pop-up alert message which is getting displayed. You want to do Aadhaar authentication? Yes, sir. Or another option is maybe later. So 2 options are getting auto-populated. So when we just want to skip it, we just want to file our return. So many times we have just skipped that option. So you just remember, before filing for refund or before revocating your cancelled GST, you have to do that Aadhaar authentication. So now this pop-up message which is appearing in your Aadhaar, which is appearing in your screen, it will not appear again when the taxpayer log into the GST portal. So when he has sent the link and he has tried to do the authentication, after that you can see that the pop-up message will not get auto-populated in your login. So until and unless it has been completed. So now the taxpayer will be receiving three email reminders for doing this other authentication. So once the moment you have clicked it, you will be getting a reminder on 5th day, the second reminder on 10th day, and the third reminder on 15th day. So you know a particular link is valid only for 15 days. So 5th, 10th and 15th day you will be getting a reminder message that your Aadhaar is pending for verification. Like that you will be getting a reminder message. Suppose in case if the link expires before the Aadhaar authentication is completed, the taxpayer will be receiving again the pop-up message. So the moment he logs in, he will be receiving a pop-up message again in his GST portal. And in the case of authorized signatory of more than one person, see, suppose if it is a partnership firm or a company, maybe two partners may be authorized, or in a company maybe two directors may be authorized signatory of the GST portal. So in that case, if Aadhaar authentication is completed only for one person and for other person it was a failure, or the other person have not completed the Aadhaar authentication and it is still pending, then also the system will pop up you with a message that you have not completed the Aadhaar authentication. So whenever whenever the taxpayer log into the GST portal. So what happens here? Taxpayer is required to complete the authentication for another person in the same mode. So whatever you have done for the one partner, the other authorized signatory, another partner have also do the same, have also do the same thing. When you have completed the other authentication for one director, the other partner, the other director also you have to do the same process for validating the Aadhaar. Suppose if both the people have tried to authenticate the Aadhaar, but both of them have failed. See, now we have in many cases, not many, even majority, 99% of the cases, we can see that the PAN name is not matching with the Aadhaar name because of the first name and the last name issues are both the names are not matching. Suppose we can say that Ram Ganesh is a name given in Aadhaar. In PAN, it could be like Ganesh Ram. So father name coming first, his name coming at the end. So all these issues are still existing in the PAN and Aadhaar. So in that case, definitely Aadhaar authentication will be a failure. Other authentication will be a failure. So we have another option in the cases of such issues. Either you have to correct the PAN, you have to apply for a PAN change, or you have to correct the Aadhaar. So if it is not possible, maybe we are in emergency. Immediately we have to do this before, so that our GST number should get revocated. So if it is in the case of emergency, it is better to upload the another option called as uploading the E-KYC documents. See, E-KYC document, you will have the option to upload a list of document is being asked, like your Aadhaar copy, your PAN copy. So all these ID proof has been required in the portal. So you can just upload all these documents as a PDF. Now after uploading and submitting, your entire other authentication process will be passed to the proper officer for verification. So proper officer have to check whether all these documents uploaded are correct and it is true and fair. So after checking with this, the officer will approve your E-KYC verification. So in that case, you have to note that it is only your E-KYC verified. It is not Aadhaar authenticated. Okay, E-KYC is completely different from Aadhaar authentication. So it means that only E-KYC is verified, which is enough, which is sufficient for doing this cancellation, revocation of cancellation, application for refund, all those things. It is okay. So this is the most important point that you all have to note, because other authentication is being mandatorily, it is being brought into slowly, it is being brought into each and every process of the GST. It is always better to do this at the beginning and keep everything matched with the records. Using of DSC, digital signature in the GST portal. See, right from similar to Aadhaar only, right from your registration, we are using the DSC, and this DSC may I know at present for which of the people are using DSC. I mean, which of the taxpayers are have to mandatorily use the DSC while filing return. May I know anybody can answer? Can post your message in the chat box. Anybody can answer? For which kind of taxpayers mandatorily we are required to use DSC, digital signature?
3D sheetuங்களா print sheet தானே அனுப்பிச்சிட்டேன் ஆமா செல்வத்துமா அனுப்பிச்சிட்டேன் ஆமா இந்த பேஜ்
Yes? Nobody knows? Hope every one of us are filing the monthly returns.
For company, DSE is mandatory, and then for we are claiming TDS.
Sir.
For that also, DSE is mandatory.
For which one, ma? I'm not able to hear your voice properly.
But for company, DSE is mandatory. For time being, for time
Okay, good.
come and giving a OTP option, and
Yes.
then we are claiming for TDS and TCS credit also. We need DSE.
Yes, correct. See, the status of the person, it should be a company, either a private limited company or a public limited company, and also LLP. LLP, both these kind of taxpayers mandatorily they have to use their DSC for everything, for filing of your returns or for taking your LUT or anything. You have to mandatorily use your DSC. Other than these two categories of taxpayer, other categories like partnership firm, sole proprietor, individual, all these people, they are being given the facility of both using both the DSC and the OTP facility. So now right from the registration process, filing of your annual return, filing of your refund claims, filing of your LUT, even for making your amendments, it can be even core amendment or a non-core amendment. For cancellation of your GST, and in case you want to surrender your GST number, you have applied for cancellation. In that case also you have to use your DSC. For revocation of your cancel, some officer have cancelled your GSTN, so again you are going for a revocation of your cancelled GSTN. In that case, that application also should be should be submitted only with the by means of a DSC. So these are all the process. These are all the categories for which we have to mandatorily use the DSC. And this DSC, for that we have to use that software EM Signer. EM Signer, always please try to download the latest version. Now at present we are using 2.8 version. 2.8 version is being used now, so it is better to download the latest version and then you can start using. As of now there are not much issues in using the digital signature. We had many issues while it was introduced in the beginning, but as of now we are not having much issues in using this DSC. Okay, so my next slide is on e-way bill under GST. So now before discussing with this slide, I would like to practically log in to the GST portal, to the e-way bill portal, and I just wanted to show you how to fill the form for generating your e-way bill. Just a minute, I will just log in and I will share my screen with you.
சவுண்ட் வரலைங்க.
பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காங்க சார். லாகின் பண்ணிட்டு they will share the screen. Bonus screen, it's not sharing.
Once again, Mother, I'm just logging in.
Okay, okay, fine.
Is my screen visible now? E-Waybill screen?
Yeah, yes, it is visible.
Okay. So this is the E-Waybill portal that you have to log in to generate your E-Waybill. So now I'm just going into this E-Waybill and generate new. So this is the E-Waybill form. You have two parts in your E-Waybill form. One is part A and the other one is part B. So part A entirely captures your invoice-wise detail. So based on your document, that whether it can be your tax invoice or it can be any other document. If it is other than supply, it can be any other document. So based on that document, whatever details that you have given, the entire thing have to be captured in this part A. And the part B information requires only to give your vehicle number and the vehicle type or the mode through which you are going to transport your goods. So only these two things are very important in generating the e-waybill. So the first option that you have to select is whether it is your outward supply or whether it is your inward supply. See, if it is the supplier who is generating the e-way bill, then always it has to be his outward supply. But sometimes there are also few cases where the supplier may be a unregistered person. So recipient will be a registered person. So in that case, recipient will be having the responsibility to generate the e-way bill. So in that case, he has to go for the inward supply option. See, based on this selection, the this option, the subtype also is getting changed here. See, when it is your outward supply, you can select either the supply. So if it is my tax invoice, the tax invoice which is issued for my regular supply, I can select the supply. Suppose if it is for an export category, so that I have to move the goods from my premises to some other locations, maybe to the airport or some other cargo location, so that the goods will get transported further, then I can use this export option. And job work, what is this job work selected? Maybe the principal is sending the goods to the job worker and again he is going to receive that back. So in that case, it is not a supply at all. So you can use the job work option. And this one is semi knocked down. SKD and CKD means it is semi knocked down and completely knocked down or in lots. See, as you all know, if it is a very big plant and machinery, we cannot transport that in one particular single truck. So maybe 3 or 4 containers or 3 or 4 trucks is required to transport. In that case, you can use this option SKD and CKD. Recipient not known. What is this recipient not known? See, there might be few cases where let us say jewelry smith, he is transporting some gold jewelry to some particular trade fair or exhibition. So only from trade fair or exhibition he is going to make further sale. So until I make the sale in that particular trade fair, I don't know who is going to be my recipient. So if the recipient is not known, you can use this option. And the next one is for own use. So if you are going to transport your goods for your own personal purposes, then you can use this option. Exhibition or trade fair. So if it is like a general movement of goods where I don't know whether I may make a supply or I may not make a supply. So I'm just transporting all the pictures painted to an art gallery. So only from the art gallery I will be able to sell those goods. In that case, you can use this option. The next one is line sale. What is this line sale? So you all know there might be some beverage items which are transported in a small Tata Ace. So now what this distributor will do, so where there may be 5 or 6 shops in one particular area. So he will be stopping in all the he will have a stop in all the shops in that particular area. So whoever wants number of quantity, he is going to distribute that. So it is like a general transport of goods again. He is not sure how much goods he is going to transport. Maybe he will take 1000 units, only 900 will get distributed. So 100 will be returned to his own factory. So for that kind of transportation, you can use this line sale. And when you want to transport goods which is not fitting under any of these above option, it is not supply, it is not export, or it is not line sale, when it is not fitting under any of these options, then you can simply select others. See, when you simply select others, you have to remember that you have to specify the description here. This is very important. So you have to clearly mention what's the purpose for which you are going to transport the goods. Now coming to the document type. Document type you have two categories. So since I have selected others, my tax invoice is not getting reflected here. Now let me select supply. If I select supply, if I select supply, tax invoice is getting auto-populated here. So only for supply, we will be able to use the tax invoice, or if it is a kind of exempted goods, or if it is a transport by a composition dealer, in that case you can use the bill of supply option here. So I'm just selecting tax invoice. So you can give the document number, and the document date is very important, and transaction type. So this is where many people are asking doubts. So what is this transaction type? See, now there are 4 categories are available here under the transaction type. One is a regular, the other one is a bill to ship to model, the other one is bill from ship from dispatch from model, the last one is a combination of the 2 and 3. What is this regular category? Regular category means you have only one supplier, you have only one recipient. Supplier directly dispatching the goods to the recipient. In between there is no other people involved. So you can use this regular category here. Suppose now your recipient have instructed you to deliver the goods to some other place, which may be his own customer's premises or some other place. In that case, you can use this option bill to ship to. So if you use the bill to ship to method, you will be able to give 3 kind of addresses. So the first one will be of the supplier, dispatch from is also from the supplier premises, and the bill to will be the registered address of the recipient. Bill to column will be the registered address of the recipient, and the ship to will be the address where your customer have asked you to dispatch the goods. So this address is completely different from bill to address. So you can use this bill to ship to model whenever you have to send the bill to somebody or registered recipient, but the goods to some other place. In that case, you can use this bill to ship to model. You also have the Bill from, dispatch from model. So what is this bill from and dispatch from? See, I am having a registered premises. Supplier is having a registered address somewhere else. But the goods have to be dispatched from a factory which is located somewhere else, or the godown which is located somewhere else. So in that case, supplier himself is required to declare two addresses in the e-way bill. So in that case, he can use this facility, bill from and dispatch from. A combination of 2 and 3 means you will be given the option to fill all the 4 details, to declare all the 4 address type in this form. See, the moment you enter the GST number, you will be getting the auto-populated name of the person, of the registered supplier or the recipient. You have to select the state, address and the PIN code. See, this PIN code is very important because you cannot simply give any dummy PIN number. All the PIN code has been linked with the portal, so it has to be validated. So whenever there is any dummy PIN code or error PIN code, you will not be allowed to generate the e-way bill form. Suppose your recipient is not having any GST number. If let us say if he is an unregistered person, in that case you simply have to type URD. You simply have to type URD, so this will get accepted. So many people are asking, GST number is mandatory, so how do I fill the e-way bill? No, it is not an issue. You just have to give the URD, unregistered dealer, so that e-way bill portal will accept this kind of input. And then coming up the item details, so you can just type one item. You have to type the description along with the HSN code, and you just have to click on this add button, so that item will get added one by one. And finally, the second part is the transporter detail. Transporter detail, if you have your own vehicle number, you just give your vehicle number. And remember, vehicle number is linked with the Wahhan Portal. So again, here also you cannot use any dummy vehicle number. So vehicle number will be immediately checked with the Wahhan Portal and it will get validated. Only if it is a validated vehicle number, e-way bill will be allowed to generated, otherwise it will show some error or pop-up messages. And the approximate distance, so this is an auto-populated figure. This is an auto-populated figure because when you enter the PIN code details here, this will get auto-populated. The pin-to-pin distance will get auto-populated. Okay, so until I fill the entire form, it is not going to be correct. So I am just scrolling up. And the mode is if the transport is through road, rail, air, and this was a newly added item just a few months back, ship come road and rail, because goods may be transported through more than one kind of transport. Say we can call it as a multimodal transport. Say from one place to one place it will be transported through ship. Again from the harbor or from the port, again it may get transported through road or it may get transported through rail. So in the case of multimodal transport, you can select this option, ship come road or rail. And the vehicle type is regular or over dimensional cargo. So this applies for heavy vehicle trucks. And the vehicle number, transporter document, if you have the transporter transporting it, you have to give this details here. Otherwise you just give only the vehicle number. This field is not mandatory. Transporter document number is not mandatory. So after that you simply have to submit and generate your e-way bill. So in case you have all the options available here, this is the masters which is available in the e-way bill portal. I'll just tell you one by one. So this option we are using to create a new e-way bill, one single e-way bill. In case if it is a transporter who is using this e-way bill, he has to create more than 10 or 15 or 20. He can use this bulk generation facility to create the e-way bill. You also have the facility to update your vehicle. So what is this update or vehicle? See, in case goods are being transported through one vehicle, immediately in the middle the vehicle met with an accident or no further transportation could be done in that vehicle. So goods are being loaded again into a new vehicle. So another vehicle is going to carry from that particular spot. In that case, you can just log in and update the vehicle number. See, it is very important that whenever the roving squad stops your vehicle, seizes your vehicle in between of the road, they will be asking for a valid documents with you. Now, if you show them an e-way bill which has the old vehicle number, which has the old vehicle number in it, that e-way-bill is definitely not valid, and it is subject to, they will be levying some penalty, or it is subject to some orders may be issued by the proper officer. So it is always very important to ensure that the goods which is carried in a vehicle number is being the current vehicle number, not the old one, or not the vehicle which is going to carry after 2 days or after 1 day in future. Always it should be the current, that present whichever vehicle is carrying a goods, that vehicle number should be incorporated in the e-way-bill form. So whenever there is a breakdown or whenever there is an accident, you have to immediately update the vehicle number in this, using this option part B. And update vehicle bulk. So when you have generated bulk e-way-bill, you can use this option. Change to multi vehicle. This option I already told you. When the goods are being transported by rail for the first segment. Second segment, it has to be transported through a truck. Third one, it has to be transported through air. In the case of multiple shipments, you can use this option to change to the multi-vehicle, so that your e-way-bill will be a single e-way-bill. Only the vehicle number will get updated each and every time. And the extend validity, as you all know, the validity of the e-way-bill. So we have the legal provisions to check the validity of the e-way-bill. Just before the validity period is going to expire, we have to extend the validity period. So you can use this option to extend the validity period, and this can be done just 4 hours before the expiry of your e-way-bill. And update the EWB transporter details can be updated. This can be used for a single e-way-bill, and the next one is for a multiple bulk. In the case of bulk generation, transporter can use this option. Cancel your e-way-bill. You know the legal provision. Everybody knows the legal provision. You can only cancel the e-way-bill within 24 hours of its generation. After that, you cannot cancel the e-way-bill. And also, even before the 24 hours, if your vehicle has been stopped in the middle of the transport, and if your e-way-bill number has been verified by any officer, then also you cannot cancel your e-way-bill. So both the things should not have been happened. Only then you can cancel your e-way-bill. You have the print option to take printout of your reports. You have the consolidated e-way-bill generation. This one is for the e-way-bill which are, just a minute. This option is for the e-way-bill which are generated by our own suppliers. So there may be suppliers who have used our own GSTN, because we are the recipient. So they could have used our GSTN to generate the e-way-bill. In that case, we can just log in to find out what are all the e-way-bill generated against our login, and we have the option to either accept or reject them. Again, for rejection also, we have the time limit only up to 72 hours. Only before the expiry of 72 hours, the recipient will be able to reject the e-way-bill. So after that 72 hours, or even if the e-way-bill has been stopped in the middle of transport and it has been verified, e-way-bill number has been verified by the officer, then in that case also we cannot reject the e-way-bill. Now these are all the report masters, so that you will be able to generate the EWB reports. So previously, when the e-way-bill facility was introduced, we never had this facility of generating the reports, and then subsequently we had a 1 week option. So up to 7 days, what are all the e-way-bill generated, we were having the option to download. But now the facility is being extended. So for any financial year, we will be able to download the EWB reports, e-way-bill generated by us or the e-way-bill generated by our supplier against our GSTN. So you have the master report and then the summary report. Master report is simply you can add the recipient GSTN and keep it as a master, so that at the time of generating your e-way-bill, you need not sit and key in the GSTN number name every time. So if you just key in the first 3 letters or first 3 GSTN number, you will get the auto-populated item, so that you can simply select. So all the clerical errors which happens by the data entry, all those things can be avoided when you use the EWB masters, when you use the My Master. And you can also generate sub-users for this e-way-bill. See, there might be two locations from where e-way bill is generated by one particular taxpayer. One may be his administration office and the other may be his factory. Goods may be moved from administration office also, because they are the people who are issuing the invoices. Sometimes goods may be transported from the factory also. Sometimes factory manager is also responsible to generate the e-way bill. So in that case, you can create two login ID, two credentials, for one for your administration office and the other one for your factory. So the person in the administration office can simply control the access by the factory manager. So what are all the things he can do, what are all the things he cannot do, what are all the things that he is authorized to do, all these things may be controlled by the admin office. So you have been given the facility to create any number of sub-users for one particular e-way bill login. And then the registration, it is for you can just simply generate your e-way bill from an application, from the mobile based app, or simply by sending an SMS. And you can use the GST Suvidha providers, like how we file our GST returns, with the help of GST Suvidha providers. This facility is also given for the e-way bill. And the application programming interface, you have to just give the allow option, so that you can use your GST portal. Data can be transmitted from the GST portal to the GST server. And update facility is for updating your transporter detail. So transporter, so if for example, if from place A to place B, I am using lorry number 1, and from place B to place C, I am using lorry number 2. So now there are two transporters used for one particular movement. In that case, I can use this option to update my transporter. So now from location 1 to 2, transporter A will be generating the e-way bill. From location 2 to 3, transporter B will be using the same invoice, and another e-way bill can be generated. So for that kind, you can use this option. And you have the updation of my profile, update additional place. As I told you, you can bring all your branches within this one particular e-way bill portal. Like you have one head office and 5 branches, you can update your profile and declare all the 5 additional branches in the e-way bill portal also. You have the grievance. So suppose if your vehicle is being stopped in the middle without any reason, without any valid reason, you can simply raise a complaint. Simply raise a grievance in this portal, so that the proper officer will have a check on it and he is going to sort out this issue. So grievance also can be addressed in the e-way bill. I just want to update you with a few additional enhancements which has been brought out in this e-way bill portal in the past 6 months. So I will just stop with this and I will share my PPT now. These are all the facilities, latest enhancements that has been brought in the e-way bill portal. Blocking for default of the supplier's GSTN only. So see, now as you all know, whenever the taxpayer have not filed his return even for a month, previously it was 2 months, now even it is for a month, his e-way bill generation facility will be blocked. And in that case, this blocking of e-way bill generation is done only if the supplier's GSTN is coming under the defaulter list, not for the default of the recipient or not for the default of the transporter. So only if the supplier's GSTN is blocked, the supplier cannot generate his e-way bill. Suppose if there is a supplier who is going to generate an e-way bill and he is using his recipient GSTN number which is blocked by the portal, in that case still he will be allowed to generate the e-way bill. So now you just have to remember that restriction is being placed only for the supplier's GSTN, not for the recipient GSTN, or even not for the transporter's GSTN. And also there is an updation in the facility of the mode of transportation. I already told you this point. Mode of transport is being updated as ship or road come ship. So previously it was only ship, now road come ship, so that the user can enter the vehicle number if the goods are initially moved by road and then later on by ship, or even vice versa. Goods are initially moved by ship and then later on by road also, he will be having the facility to update, enter the vehicle number. Suspended GSTN cannot generate the e-way. Now if the supplier is suspended, it is not cancelled. I am not talking about the cancellation. That was already done in the first point. Now I am talking about the suspension criteria. When the supplier GSTN is suspended, which means a temporary cancellation, suspended, and the cancellation proceedings are pending, so that the officer has served him a show cause notice and the cancellation proceedings are pending, and this is called as the period under suspension, then also he will not be allowed to generate the e-way bill. Again, you have to remember that this is not going to restrict the recipient or the transporter. Even if the supplier is suspended, recipient or the transporter can generate the e-way bill using the supplier's GSTN number also. Now, the next point is improvement in the management information system reports. So, I have just shown you in the left column, there are many masters available, there are many options available under the masters. There are many add-on features to the MIS reports. So, all the e-way bills which are about to expire. See, now this is required in the case of any GST audit by the department. So whenever there is any audit and notice has been issued for audit, you have to provide all the documents which are required by the officer. So now I have seen a case where the officer is asking for all the e-way bill of the taxpayer which is generated for one particular period. So he just want to ensure whether all these transportation, all these e-way bill transactions are being brought into the GSTR1 supply, whether it is covered, whether it is declared in the GSTR1 return, whether the taxes have been properly paid for all these outward supply. So he just want to ensure all these things, and he asked us the entire e-way bill report generated for one particular period. So it is always better for that every a monthly or every quarter or even twice in a month, it is always better to download all the e-way bill record from the e-way bill portal. So now for this MIS facility will help you. So if there are if the outward supplies whatever being generated using the e-way bill, all those records have to be generated. So now this will get downloaded only in Excel format, so it is very easy for you to just browse and check. And in the outward supply report, there is one more column added. In the Excel sheet, there is one more column added. The mode of generating the e-way bill is also getting added. So just by looking into the report, officer may know through what is the mode that you have generated your e-way bill, whether you have used the system-based application, or whether you have used the SMS facility, or whether you have used the GSPs. So all these information will be known by the officer. The next one is e-way bill cannot be generated with the SAC code. See, as you all know, for service we are not going to generate any e-way bill. For outward supply of service we are not going to generate any e-way bill. But what will happen if that service involves a movement of a particular commodity? Say I am just going to rent a plant and machinery. Okay, I am just going to transport the plant and machinery in a vehicle, a simple Tata Ace vehicle. I am going to transport my plant and machinery. Though it is completely a service, renting of P&M is a service, but still it requires the movement. So in that case, definitely I have to generate a e-way bill. So while generating the e-way bill, I have to declare the HSN commodity, HSN code of the plant and machinery which I am transporting along with the value. So it may not be a outward supply. It may be I can just choose the other category which I have shown you in the portal. I can choose the other category, so that it is like a renting of a plant and machinery. I can use the description renting of the plant and machinery. But still I have to declare at least one HSN code. If the e-way bill is generated with the SAC code, it will not get generated. Error message will be populated. So you have to ensure that at least one HSN code should be used while generating e-way bill for any service that you are supplying, that is an outward supply. The next one is the integration with the Wahhan Portal. So I already told you this. E-Waybill portal has been integrated with Wahhan system of the transport department. So if the vehicle number is entered in the E-Waybill, that will get checked with the Wahhan system and then it will be validated. So we cannot use any dummy numbers or any wrong error vehicle numbers. And pin to download generation of EVA bill along with the IRN. See, now we have the E-Invoicing facility. E-Invoicing portal is also linked with the EVA bill portal. So the on a single click, your invoice detail will get transported to the EVA bill portal, and then you will be able to generate the EVA bill along with the invoice reference number. Now we will also be discussing on this e-invoicing. After completion of this e-way bill, I will just move on to e-invoicing portal. Download e-way bill for a month is available. I already told you when the e-way bill portal was implemented, we only had the facility for 1 week. After that, this facility has been improved to 1 month. So now even for 1 whole year, we have the facility to download the e-way bill. So it is always better to download the e-way bill records very frequently and keep it, so that in case if there is any GST audit, we will be able to provide the records for their reference. Pin-to-pin distance database is updated. So this also I told you, the moment you enter your pin code from bill from pin code to dispatch to pin code, the distance will be automatically calculated, so that the database is updated. E-Waybill has a updated distance database, so that the distance will be calculated automatically. You need not sit and calculate the number of kilometers. So you can just feed the approximate kilometers. That can be with a variation of plus 10 or minus 10. That is not an issue. So nobody is going to ask you, if it is 300 kilometer, why did you fill up 310 kilometer? It is wrong. Nobody can ask you such type of questions. And then the last facility, which is the very latest one, it was just brought 1 week before, the two-factor authentication for the e-Waybill portal and the e-invoice portal. See, now whenever you log in, at present this particular facility is made only optional. This is only made optional. This may be brought into a mandatory feature on a future date. We are just expecting, we don't know when, but as of now this is made optional. So what is this two-factor authentication? The moment you log into your e-Waybill portal or your e-invoice portal, definitely you have to put your OTP. Definitely you have to give your OTP. This OTP is going to be sent to your registered mobile number through an SMS. Like how you use your banking, internet banking facility, the moment you log in, you will be asked with the OTP. The same feature has been brought into this two portal also. So you may enter the OTP, get authenticated. But as of now, you are having an option. That is what I told you. You may register or you may deregister this facility at any time using the link. This link is being given in the two-factor authentication menu in the under the registration menu. So presently this is only an optional, but however in future this may be made as a mandatory. And this one point to remember, this OTP authentication is based on individual user accounts. So that as I told you, you can create any number of sub-user within your GSTN. Sub-users of the GSTN will have a separate authentication, which is depending on their own registered mobile number in the e-Waybill portal. So as I told you, administration office, that manager will be having a separate OTP authentication. In the factory manager will be having a separate OTP authentication. But the moment you have registered for this two-factor authentication, this is applicable for both e-Waybill system and e-invoicing system. There is no separate applicability. The moment you register for this, again when you log into your e-invoicing portal also, you have to do the two-factor authentication. Then only you will be able to log into the portal. So this is with regard to the e-Waybill portal. So I will just stop for 2 minutes here, so that if there is any doubts regarding this e-way bill and the additional features in the GSTN portal, you can just get it clarified, so that after that I will proceed to the e-invoicing, generation of the e-invoicing.
Ma'am, we have some queries in the chat box.
Yes, ma'am, tell me. What is the doubt?
In the chat window, there is a question.
Okay. How to show unregistered party in GSTR 3B for RCM charges, which is not reflecting in GSTR 2B. See, as far as now, GSTR 2B is going to capture the information only based on your supplier filing. So if your supplier is a registered party applicable for RCM, then only you will be able to get those things in 2B. If it is not reflected in 2B, you are 100% you are allowed to edit those figures, include those unregistered party RCM, add it, and then pay the RCM charges. See, the government is not going to stop you from paying RCM. The government is not going to question you, why have you paid more than the RCM getting reflected? No, they are never, this is going to happen. So you are 100% allowed to edit those figures, add the unregistered party receipts, and then add the tax portion and then pay it while filing your 3B. You can edit. Anyway, if it is edit, I told you it is going to be flagged to the proper officer. But when the proper officer questions you, why have you edited those figures? We also have the proof. We also have the proof along with our books of accounts that all these inward supplies are subject to RCM. So I have added and paid my RCM. That is not a mistake. Definitely that is not a mistake, or there is no error in doing such kind of things. You can edit and do. Yes, it shows warning for excess only. It will be displayed in red color only. It will be flagged to the officer only. But that is not an issue. We are doing it only for a valid reason. See, I can say you another example also. The law says, provision says, up to September month return, we are allowed to claim any input tax credit which has been left out for the previous financial figure. But when you edit the ITC figure which is reflected auto-populated in 3B, again that is also getting colored in red color. That is also being displayed in red color. It is only information which is flagged to the officer. Nothing wrong in it, because as per the provisions we are doing it. So it is certainly correct. You need not worry about this getting flagged to the officer. Okay, any other questions? Okay, now let me proceed with the e-invoicing generation. I'm just opening up the software, that is a simple Excel tool which helps us to generate the e-invoicing in the offline mode. We also have the online mode, but online mode is very simple and very similar to the offline mode. So let me explain the offline mode to you. One second, my Excel is opening. One second. Is able to see my Excel now?
Yeah, we are able to see the screen.
Okay. See, now this is the offline tool. This is called as the E-Invoice, GST E-Invoice preparation and presentation tool, which is given by the NIC, National Informatics Center. And this is the offline tool which I have downloaded from the E-Invoicing portal. E-Invoicing portal, the moment you just go to the home page, you will be able to have you are being given the option to download this tool. It is a very simple Excel tool which is used to prepare your invoice and then generate your e-invoice. So let me explain. This is the home. This is the first page in your Excel sheet. You have the menu which is given on your left side. See, you can have the new invoice, pending invoice, import QR code, print. All these are the menus available. Before generating e-invoices, each and every software will ask you your profile to be incorporated, and that is why we have to first give our profile before generating any invoices. See, the moment you give this profile, this is going to get stored in this Excel. So whenever you open the Excel file subsequently, the supplier's profile will be stored. So I have just given one profile, the supplier's GST, and since I have created this already and the details are being auto populated, so I need to give the supplier GST. Whoever is going to generate the e-invoice, his GST number have to be given here. The moment you give the number, your trade name, legal name will get auto populated. It will get auto populated, and you have to give the address as per the GST records. So address, location, state, everything have to be given. So when you want to create any logo, or when you already have a logo for your company which has to be generated in the e-waybill, you can also add that company logo. So you just click on this upload. You will be asked to pick up that particular file from your computer's location anywhere. So you can just browse and select it and then upload. So after that you have to save the information. So now this is the supplier profile which has been created. The reason for creating the supplier profile is that all these will do the data entry errors while generating your e-invoices. So I already told you, when you just key in first three letters, immediately everything will get auto populated. So you can save time in data entry. You can avoid the clerical errors in your data entry. The next one is the Recipient Master. This is the Recipient Master, so that if you have few customers, say regularly I will be supplying only to these 10 customer, I don't have anybody more than that. So in that case you can just fill in all the 10 customer details directly, so that whenever you key in, automatically from the master the data will be auto populated in your e-invoicing creation. So I have just created one particular customer here. I have given his GST number, legal name, trade name, address, pin code, etc. So there is one recipient master created. So one supplier master, one recipient master. The next one is the product master. The next one is the product master. See, it can be a supplier of service, or it can be a supplier of goods. See, whatever be the product description, you just have to give it. So I am just giving one product description. If it is a service, you just select service. I will just give rental service. Product description is rental service. Is it a service? I am selecting yes. If it is goods, you just give no, give the HSN code. Since it is a service, I am giving the SAC code. As you all know, 4-digit HSN and SAC code and 6-digit is being mandatory. So if it is a B2 supply only, you are having the option not to declare. Definitely above 20 crores, if it is above 5 crores itself, it is mandatory for us to declare 4-digit and 6-digit HSN code. Since e-invoicing is applicable only for 20 crores, definitely we have crossed the limit and we need to give 4-digit or 6-digit. In units, if it is a service, you just give others. Unit price, GST percentage. If it says is applicable, you can also declare it and you can add it to your master. So the moment I give add, my service has been added. So now this is the master list. When you just add it in the left side column, in the right side you will have the entire contents of your goods and services displayed. So I've just created suppliers master, recipient master, product master is also created. So moving into the menu. Now I am going to generate a new invoice. New invoice. This is the invoice entry where you are going to capture all the information mentioned in your tax invoices. See, as of now, e-invoicing is applicable in the case of B2B supplies. In the case of B2B supply and in the case of special economic zone with payment, special economic zone without payment, export supplies with payment, export supply without payment, deemed exports. See, these are all the only category for which e-invoicing is applicable now. So we don't have B2C category. So many were asking me if I am issuing a bill to B2C, whether do I need to create and issue an e-invoice? No, not at all. As of now, the government has notified only these are the categories for which e-invoicing is mandatory. So I am just selecting B2B. Is reverse charge applicability? No. There may be cases where supplier is required to issue e-invoices which is taxable under reverse charge. So at present we'll just give yes, no. Document type. See, these are all the 3 document presently for which e-invoicing is applicable. Tax invoice, credit note and a debit note. I just give tax invoice. Document number. Document date. See, now as of now e-invoice is not having, e-invoice portal is not having any restriction in the dates. So which means that even when you generate e-invoice for any invoice that has been issued already, see, in the month of April itself I have issued the invoice, but totally I have forgot to generate the e-invoice. So even today on 14th of May, I can generate the e-invoice for that particular tax invoice. And I don't know how long this restriction is not going to be placed. Maybe in a future date, definitely we are going to get this restriction. But as of now, e-invoice portal is allowing even dates for the previously generated tax invoices also. So let me give today's date. Legal name. So the moment I key in 2 or 3 letters, I am getting the names which is picked up from the recipient master. So we can simply avoid all the data entry. And the moment I select on his name, he look at the address, look at the GST number, everything which is getting auto-populated. So even place of supply is also getting auto-populated. Sometimes we may be having IGST even on intra-state supplies also. As of now, it is no. And transaction type, this facility, it is very similar to that which is in e-waybill creation. I explained you at the e-waybill creation. This option is also similar to that. After that, I am going to add the item detail, add item, so that we simply give the serial number. See, at presently, this entry number can be up to 1000. The software allows you to enter up to 1000 line items for entry. So right from starting from serial number 1 up to serial number 1000, you are allowed to enter the item description. So rental service. So when I just select, double click it, everything is getting automatically populated. It is a service, and what is the HSN code, unit others, and unit price. See, price may vary. Price we are not going to fix it for all the customer. It may vary. So we just have to edit it and make the corrections. Gross amount. So after all those, before that discount, you can give the gross amount. In case if you provide any discount which is given in your mentioned in your tax invoice, all those things can be declared here. Taxable value. The moment I select the rate, because already I have incorporated this in my product master, as it is 18%, I am getting the CGST and SGST value automatically populated here. So I am just total item, I am just submitting it. So after submission, my item detail will get displayed here. So up to 1000 numbers, your software is going to allow you to enter the details. So now this is a very simple e-invoicing detail which is captured from my tax invoice. So after that, I have to click on submit. See, now you just have the preview of your e-invoice, how your e-invoice is going to be. We can just have a check. The check that we can have only here. After that, we cannot check anywhere. After that, immediately, once when you upload the JSON file, immediately your e-invoice will get generated. So if you want to check anything, this is the stage at which you can have a check and make the corrections. Okay, check on the document detail, party details, item detail, and then confirm. So what do you want to do? It's asking whether you want to generate the e-invoice or continue entry, or whether you want to go to menu. So I am just telling you that we are going to generate the e-invoice. So it is very simple, like how you validate and generate your GSTR1 return using the offline tool available in the portal. I am just giving on validate, data validated successfully. So after that, your JSON will get enabled, prepare JSON, data validated successfully, and JSON created and stored. So in the desktop, my JSON file is getting stored here. So I am just giving OK. Now I will just log in to the e-waybill portal. Just a minute. Sorry, e-invoicing portal. Just a minute. Is able to see my e-invoice screen? Okay, I've just logged into my e-invoicing portal. See, the moment you log in, information is getting displayed for the two-factor authentication, which I just explained you before. If you want, you can register, or otherwise you simply ignore it. Now this is the menu using which you are going to generate your e-invoice. So e-invoice and bulk upload is the option which I have taken up. So now this is the place where you are going to upload your JSON file, so that the moment you browse and then select your JSON file, I'm just simply selecting it. So the moment you select your JSON file and click on upload, immediately your E-invoicing will get E-invoice will get generated. See, it is a single step process only. So up to the generation of JSON, you can use your offline tool, Excel file to prepare all the invoicing detail, and after logging into the GST E-invoicing portal, you just have to upload the JSON file. Very simple, like how you upload your GSTR1 JSON file using the offline utility. Very simple, same process only, and then immediately you will get your GST e-invoice generated. Now this is the menu. Like similar to the e-way bill, you also have the MIS reports available with you, so that you might know what are all the generated e-invoice. See, you will be able to check on the invoices generated only for 3 days, just 3 days prior to your current date. See, let us say today is 14th, so 13th and 12th, only from 12th I will be able to check what are all the e-invoices generated using my login. See, I cannot click on this, it is getting disabled here. So only 12th, 13th and 14th, only for 3 days you will have the option to check what are all the e-invoices generated. Also, you are having the cancelled e-invoices. If any invoices that you have cancelled, you also have a time limit to cancel your e-invoices. You are having a software, like how you have the software to prepare your e-invoice, you also have the tool to cancel your e-invoice. So again, you have to download that cancellation tool. Everything is available in the home page. You have to download that cancellation tool, fill your invoice detail which has to be cancelled, upload the JSON file. So that time your e-invoice also will get cancelled. You have the other options, like you have to change your passwords, user management. You can create any number of sub-users, like how you can do for the e-way bill. E-invoice portal also you can create any number of sub-users, so that your administration office may use one login credentials to generate e-invoice. Your factory manager on the other hand will be using one login credentials to generate e-invoice. So any number of sub-users can be created. You can also restrict the sub-user, that what are all the things that he can access, what are all the menu that he cannot access. All those things will be available in this sub-user menu. So let me just log out and tell you what are the options from where the software can be downloaded. And there are few options available in this search menu. See, you can have the master codes, product and services HSN code, and e-invoice status of a taxpayer. See, when you want to know whether your particular recipient or whether your particular supplier is coming under this category of having a turnover above 20 crore, whether he is liable to generate e-invoice or not, all those things can be checked here. You just have to provide the GSTN number of the person, so that from the database of the e-invoicing portal, the system itself will let you know whether this particular taxpayer have to generate e-invoicing or not. So the portal itself will give you the details. And also you are having the number of GSTN generating the IR, and this is a new facility available in the e-invoicing portal. You will have a list of records. See, if you just click on this download, you will have a list of records available with the e-invoicing portal, so that these are all the people who are at presently generating e-invoice, or who are at presently using this portal to generate the e-invoices. So I just want to let you know a few other points with this e-invoicing portal. I will just move on to my slide, present my slide. See, this e-invoicing portal, there is a mismatch. Okay, there is a misunderstanding actually, not a mismatch, there is a misunderstanding, that many taxpayers are of the view that generation of the e-invoicing means everything have to be generated, the total invoice itself have to be generated in the e-invoicing portal. So like how you generate your tax invoices using Tally or any other accounting software or any other billing software, now they are thinking that everything has to be generated using the e-invoicing portal, but it is not so. This is not the exact scenario. The registered person, the registered taxpayer, so far whatever they are using to generate their own accounting or billing software, or they can use any ERP softwares also to generate the tax invoices. So whatever they are using, they have to continue to use that their own software, accounting software or billing software. Only thing, to bring in more uniformity in trade, this particular e-invoicing mechanism has been brought in by the government. So they have to just upload all the particulars of their tax invoices in a common portal, which is called as the invoice registration portal. This invoicing portal is nothing but invoice registration portal. What is this invoice registration portal? You are just generating, you are just passing on your information of your tax invoices to the government. These are all the information of my tax invoices. I am just passing the information only to the government. I am not going to generate anything from the government portal. So the moment you pass on the information to the government portal, you will be getting a number which is called as the IRN number, unique invoice reference number. You will be generated with the unique invoice referencing number along with the quick response code also, this is that IRP. This is the portal e-invoice1.gst.gov.in. See, because of the portal traffic, we have been all over the India. People are using, taxpayers are using this portal to generate the e-invoices. So the government at present, it has introduced 10 portals. So starting from 1, we have e-invoice 2, e-invoice 3, up to e-invoice 10. Portals are there to register and to generate the reference number, invoice reference number. So this is the difference between the present system and the e-invoicing system. It doesn't mean that taxpayers have to entirely generate the invoice, create a tax invoice using the e-invoicing portal. No, not like that. It is only passing on the information contained in the tax invoice to the e-invoicing portal, and thereafter he has to generate the invoice reference number. So any invoice which is issued without this IRN number is not a valid tax invoice. So business people, they are required to generate an electronic invoice on every sale of their entity. So creating an e-invoice is the prior responsibility of every dealer. So every taxpayer has to create it. Now there is a standard format which is prefixed by the authority, so that proper details have been extracted. See, as you all know, different kind of process may be adopted by a trader. Different kind of process may be adopted by a manufacturer. Different kind of process may be adopted by a service provider. So to integrate all these three segments and to bring a uniformity into it, there the portal has been enabled to capture only the information given by the taxpayer, so that we have this e-invoicing schema. E-invoicing schema is nothing complicated coding method or something. It is only the basic particulars of your tax invoice. Only that is being passed on to the e-invoicing schema. So as I told you, if it is a valid tax invoice, it has to contain this invoice reference number. Without the IRN number, tax invoice is not a valid thing. Also, this see, previously we were required to issue 3 invoice copies in the case of a supply of goods, and 2 copies in the case of supply of services. 3 invoice copies for goods. One is for the supplier, one is for the recipient, one is for the transporter. So there was a provision for this. But now all these things have been completely omitted, so that you can issue just only one single tax invoice or one single e-invoicing along with the IRN number. Now this is the process of generating the e-invoice. Taxpayer will be still continuing to use their own softwares, own accounting software, own billing software, own ERP method, everything own, nothing, no change in it. Everything remains the same. Only thing, he sends the e-invoice to the receiver as the same way that he is doing now. But only a mechanism has been enabled so that a system to system exchange of information is being done for generating the e-invoice. So as I told you, 10 portals are notified. And is there any time limit within which I should report this e-invoice, invoicing details to the IRB? I already explained this question to you. No. At present, no such validation thing is being kept by the e-invoicing portal. As I already told you, even for the invoice generated in April, today you can sit and generate the e-invoice. System will not check on the dates. Simply it just validates and generates the e-invoicing. And e-invoicing will be generated with a QR code. Have you all seen? Practically every day we are using this GPay, PhonePe, everything we are using. This QR code works in the similar format only. This QR code will contain all the information of a particular tax invoice, such as a supplier, recipient, everything will be captured. And the GST invoice will be valid only if it is as a valid IRN number. And as of now, e-invoicing portal will not work on a voluntary basis. See, I already told you, I already shown you the menu where the portal list out the number of taxpayers who are coming under this GST number. So if my turnover is only 10 crore, can I go in for a e-invoicing option? No, system will not allow you. If you go for registration itself, system will block you by sending you a message that no, your turnover is below 20 crore, so you are not allowed for e-invoicing. So it is not on a voluntary basis. Only those taxpayers who have given their turnover, who have specified their turnover above 20 crore will be allowed for the e-invoicing. Because system has captured all these turnover detail from your filing data, from your GSTR 3B filing data. The next one is how to know whether a particular taxpayer is coming under the GST. And I simply have shown you the menu where you can just check whether you are your own supplier or your own recipient or you yourself are applicable for the e-invoicing. And this turnover limit, look at this turnover limit, it is from 2017-18 onwards, not for the current period or not only for the previous period. See, right from the implementation of GST, right from 1st July 2017-18, you have to check whether your turnover is coming under the e-invoicing limit. See, in 17-18 it is 25 crore, 18-19 it is only 10 crore, still you are applicable because the provision says it is from 2017-18 onwards. And many were asking me one particular doubt whether for the year 17-18 you need to calculate the turnover from April. No, certainly no, because the definition of annual aggregate turnover has been brought only into the CGST Act, not before the VAT Act or something. So when was the CGST Act brought into? It was brought only from the 1st July 2017. So your turnover has to be reckoned only from 1st July 2017, not 3 months prior to that. So based on this checks you can have, you will be able to know whether you are coming under the generation of the e-invoicing facility. And note that this listing is entirely based on the 3B turnover which you have reported to the GST portal. You can just search this enable. I showed you this, I have shown you this particular option available, e-invoice status of the taxpayer. You can just have a check. Suppose any person who has crossed this threshold of 20 crore, but still he has not been enabled on the GST portal. Maybe there was a technical issue, or maybe the system have not captured that particular taxpayer's turnover correctly. So in that case, what the clarification is given by the GSTN is that they have asked us to raise a grievance. And then subsequently we ourselves can go for registration in the e-invoice enablement form. So there is a form called as the e-invoice enable form. just in the home page of the website itself, you have this option. You can just go and enable your e-invoicing, so that the moment you click on the registration and sign up, you will be allowed to generate the e-invoices. So these are all the particular things which I wanted to let you know of the e-invoicing portal. May I know, is there any doubts that you have in relating to the generation of e-invoices? Any other doubts?
One question is posted in the chat box. Apart from
Okay.
that,
Is e-invoicing applicable for cess supply and exempted supply? Sir, e-invoicing is applicable for cess supply, because while showing you the Excel tool, I have just shown you the drop down menu where below to the B2B category, you also have the special economic zone with the payment, special economic zone without payment. So definitely e-invoicing is applicable for special economic zone. Sir, for exempted supply, see, e-invoice is only for generation of based on the document of tax invoices, debit notes and credit notes. For exempted supply, what kind of document that we are going to issue is only bill of supply. We are not going to issue any other document for exempted supply. So as of now, we don't have this bill of supply option in the tool to generate the e-invoices, which means that for exempted supply, there is no e-invoicing. It is only for tax invoice, debit notes, credit notes.
any other questions? You can proceed, Bona, to the next.
Okay. Okay, now I will just log in to the GST portal and I can show you the filing of 3B. Just a minute, I will log in and share my screen.
Bona, there is one more question in the chat box.
One second. Some invoice is not e-invoice but shall be issued directly to Gstr return one as B2B. See Monisha, actually the requirement is that the rule is that you have to generate e-invoices for your outward supply, but initially maybe due to some technical glitches or any ignorance, some taxpayers have not generated the e-invoice. But it doesn't mean that you need not generate e-invoice for that. Maybe on a later date, as I told you, as of now, system does not place any restriction to generate e-invoices for the April month invoices or May month invoices. So even for the previously generated tax invoice, you can still generate the e-invoice. You just have to generate a e-invoice for your record. As I told you, maybe on a later date when there is any GST audit or something, this documentary evidences is more important. But what happens is that when you generate e-invoice for something which for a tax invoice which has already been generated in the previous month or something, that information is not being passed on to the Gstr portal, GST portal, that is, it is not getting auto-populated in Gstr 1. So it is not an issue at all. There is also a clarification issued. There was a clarification issued by the GSTN network that in case any of your invoices is not getting populated in your Gstr 1 return, you can just wait on or before, just before the due date of filing the Gstr 1 return. You just have a check whether your invoices is still not getting reflected. Say I have generated E-invoices for 10 numbers, but only 9 numbers are being reflected in Gstr 1 return. One is missing, one is not getting generated. In that case, you simply have a check and confirm, and then you can add it, and then you can add it on your own. This was a clarification given by the, it was even given in FAQs by the E-Invoicing portal. So definitely you can add it. That is not an issue at all. But the reason why it is not getting reflected is that you just raise a grievance on your behalf, so that from our side everything will be cleared to the department. Whenever there is a query from our side, we can get it clear. So you just raise a grievance that this particular invoice number, it is not getting auto populated, and then you add it on your own and then file the Gstr 1 return. That will do. Okay, I've just logged into the GST portal. So there are many options available in this portal. See, as of now, everything has become online. So right from the registration, filing of returns, filing of refund claims, changeover from composition to regular to composition, everything, all the features are available in the online portal. So let me just go with the GSTR 3B. See, now what is this nil return? Do you want to file a nil return? So what is the clarification that has to be given from this part is that a nil return is a return where you don't have both outward supply and also you don't have any inward supply. In case if you don't have an outward supply, it doesn't mean it is a nil return. You have few ITC that you have to claim in your monthly return. So in that case, you simply cannot tick this yes and then proceed further. So in that case, you have to declare a nil return is a return where you don't have both outward and the inward. Even in few cases, if you don't have RCM, then only you can say it is a nil return. There is no outward, there is no inward, but still you have a RCM liability to be discharged. Then you cannot file the nil return. So you just have to click no and then proceed. So you remember the scenario, when can a nil return be filed? Now this 3B return is also being entirely based on the auto capture of information. So slowly you just think about the progress. First we had the GSTR 1 auto populator. Now we have the GSTR 3B auto populator. GSTR 1 incorporated the figures from your e-way bill and e-invoicing. Now 3B is incorporating the figures from your GSTR 1. Based on your suppliers filing the detail, you are getting the outward supply incorporated in your 3B. Based on your suppliers filing their own GSTR 1, you are getting the details incorporated in GSTR 2B. As you all know and aware that from 1st January 2022, we have to follow only GSTR 2B. There is no 2A. You just think about the progress of availing the ITC. First, we based on the as per section 16 eligibility condition, based on the documents we were availing the ITC, and further rule 36.4 made a restriction that only 20% of excess ITC can be claimed. Further, this percentage has been reduced to 10% and finally to 5%, and finally from 1st January 2022 it is 0%. Which means that only whatever is reflecting in your 2B record, that you have to claim it as your ITC. So what will happen now? Now we have to file our GSTR 1 on 11th. This GSTR 2B record, when is it getting generated? This is getting generated only on 13th of every month. So that all the suppliers have to file their return, and finally on 13th morning you will be able to view your GSTR 2B record. So from 13th to 20th is the only time available with you to calculate what is your GST payable. So you just think only 1 week is available for you to compute the GST payable for all your clients. Before that you have to compute and let them know. Now, who need to file this GSTR 3B? This GSTR 3B is mandatory for all taxpayers, for all regular taxpayers. So, other than composition, other than ISD, everybody are required to file their GSTR 3B return. So even when there is no business, do I need to file this 3B return? Yes. Particularly if you don't have any business, it doesn't mean that you can just skip and go for the next month. Completely you have to declare the nil return and then only proceed for the further return. Now it is following a systematic filing. GST portal is following a systematic filing. So portal itself will tell you that you have not filed the return for the previous month. So you cannot even skip one particular month. And when will the system generated 3B will be available? That will be available on 13th of every month. So let me check for this taxpayer is whether 2B has been generated. Yes, 2B has been generated. So what is the generation date? It is only today. Because yesterday when I logged in, I found out there was no 2B generated for this taxpayer. So only today this report was available. So only after 13th you will be able to view the 2B records. Now what is there in the 2B records? You have the ITC available category and ITC not available category. As of now, we don't know what restriction the system is having in the ITC not available, because system cannot filter all the ineligible category based on the blocked credit, section 17.5 blocked credit, or the credit based on rule 42 or 43 based on the exempted taxable portion, business purpose, non-business purpose. Everything the portal cannot sit and split off now. We don't have that much of artificial intelligence in this portal to split off all these details. But as of now, the amendment, Finance Bill 2022 got an amendment that the ITC available should be categorized as ITC available, eligible, ITC available, not eligible. So you always have to place a significance only on the ITC which is available and which is eligible for you to claim. Which is eligible for you to claim it in your 3B records. So you can just have the details of the supplier wise invoices, inward supplies available with you. So I just click the drop down. I can see only B2B invoices. There are not much of details given for this taxpayer. You have the B2B supplies, you have inward supply from ISD. If there is any credit to be availed through ISD, input service distributor, you will have this. Inward supply liable for reverse charge. This particular option, this particular column, that will be carried forward to your 3B return, and already I told you, you can very well alter this data, edit this data. See, always remember, I just want to tell you one more point. Whenever you inflate the figures, that is whenever you add some figures to the already existing numerical data, that will not be flagged in red color. Have you noticed that? Whenever you deflate the figures only, that will be flagged in red color. See, if your RCM payable as per the 2B records is only 2000, but you have some more purchases from unregistered dealer which amounts to 4000. When you change the figure from 2000 to 4000, it will not be flagged in red color. That will still only be in green color because your payable has been inflated. Only when you deflate it, the portal will flag you. The information will be flagged to the officer. And you also have import of goods so that IGST can be claimed through this 2B form also. Now this is the 2B record. Now what is the significance of this system generated 3B? The significance of the system generated 3B is that data has been provided to the taxpayers only as an assistance in filing the form. It is only a mode of assistance just to help you. Just to help you in filling out the form, it is a mode of assistance. So to minimize the errors, to minimize the mismatches in return filing. Have you noticed many errors like GSTR 1 they have declared the value as 1 lakh rupee. By mistake in 3B they have declared it as 1 crore, adding 1 zero extra. These are all the errors which has been avoided in the past few months because of the auto population of the 1 and 3B. So it improves the overall efficiency, overall compliance of the GST portal. And the long time reconciliation, 1 and 3B is a very long time reconciliation. Unless if you do it very correctly, many of the taxpayers have discrepancy, have mismatches between 1 and 3B. Only this will be coming out at the time of filing your income tax return, or this will be coming out only at the time of filing your annual return. Until then, we may not notice, or we may forget to notice such errors. So now these tables are auto populated in 1 and 3B, which helps you to minimize all these errors and mistakes. Now I had just a question from one of my friend. I have already saved the data in Gstr 3B before filing my Gstr 1. Okay, I have just forgot to file 1, so I am just leaving it. Now I am coming to Gstr 3B and I am saving my data. Now subsequently I am filing my Gstr 1 return. Okay, I have prepared my 3B on 13th and again on 15th I am filing my Gstr 1. What will happen to the already saved figures? Will that get replaced, or will that be auto populated with the one filed figure? No. Once you have edited and or once you have saved the figures on your own by manual entry in Gstr 3B, thereafter filing of 1 will not affect your 3B figures. Thereafter or subsequent filing of Gstr 1 will not affect your 3B saved figures. Okay, now can you edit this auto drafted 3B? Yes, very well, you can edit it. So just we had a doubt, right? So one person was asking me, RCM, can we edit? Yes, you can edit, no issues. If the auto populated figure is wrong, you can edit it. Simultaneously, when you have the ITC to be claimed, which has been left out in the previous financial years, the provision tells you that up to September month filing, you have the time limit, you have the cutoff date to claim your left out ITC. So very well you can edit it and change it. So can you download the system generated 3B? Yes, you can download it. Before filing, you can just have a preview or draft of the system generated. You also have the option. So when you just go into the return and you just go into 3B, you will have the option. Once again, I'm just going into 3B, 3B of April month. So I have the option to generate the system generated 3B. So you can just use this as a reference so that anything if I have changed it, why have I changed it? What is the difference between the auto populated figure and the changed figure? All those reasons have to be provided in future if it is required by the offices. So you can generate this. Now you can now have this frequency to change your filing from monthly to quarterly payment of taxes. As you all know very well that now 3B return can be filed on a quarterly basis, but payment of taxes have to be made on a monthly basis. So you can just change this using this option, opt in for quarterly return. So this is a changeover from monthly to quarterly. So for 2023, what is the option that I have selected is getting displayed here. But you have to ensure that if any quarter has been commenced, you cannot change that in between. Before only the commencement of the next quarter, you will have the option to change this monthly to quarterly and quarterly to monthly. Also, when you change to quarterly also, don't forget that you have to pay your taxes on a monthly basis. So what is the provision given? It is 35% of the estimated tax liability have to be paid on a monthly basis. And how can you estimate this tax liability? You can estimate this from the previous quarter. From the previous quarter. If you can sit and calculate, you can calculate. Or if you cannot calculate, you just go by the previous quarter turnover and compute the tax liability at 35%. So other things, as you all practically filing the 3B return, I think I need not explain in much all the data of the 3B. I think I need not go in for a detailed explanation. Any other doubts in filing of 1 and 3B? Please let me know.
Guna, there are 2 questions in the chat box.
Yes. Is there any option for editing E-invoices once generated? Seema, editing of E-invoices cannot be done in E-invoicing portal. You have to, suppose you feel that there is a mistake in the figure or there is a mistake in tax percentage or anything, if you can cancel it within 24 hours, you can use the bulk generation tool to cancel. Or if that time period has been lapsed or you have completely forgotten to cancel, in that case your data will be transmitted to the GSTR1. So from GSTR1 you will have the option to edit those figures. So editing can be done in GSTR1 only. From the auto populated figure you can do the editing, nothing wrong in that. RCM paid in the previous month where we shown as input credit in the next month 3B return. Yes. See, what happens is that when the RCM provisions was implemented, there were 2 categories of taxpayers. So first category, they were paying the RCM in the current month, claiming it as ITC in the same month. There were second category who were paying the RCM in the first month, claiming it as ITC in the second month. Because that itself there was a lot of ambiguities. The provision says that RCM should be claimed only when it is paid. Okay, RCM can be claimed as ITC only when it is paid. So when are you paying the RCM? Only in the second month. That is for April month RCM you will be paying only on May 20. Right. So when are you eligible to claim the RCM as ITC? Only in the month of May. Only in the filing of the May month return. So this itself there was a lot of ambiguity. Still there are 2 categories of taxpayers. So in that case what will happen? Your GSTR 3B will have the auto populated figures based on the RCM of that particular month, and also that same figure is getting reflected in your ITC claim. ITC table also the same figure is getting reflected. But what happens is that we are we are just editing those and we are only claiming the RCM whatever is paid in the previous month, not in the current month. So you can just edit it in the input tax table. In the input tax credit table you are having this, right? Taxes paid on inward supply. You are having this row. I'm sorry, no, what is it? Row. In that row you can fill this RCM. Whatever you have paid in the previous figure you can fill it and claim it. Any other doubts? So I have come to the end of my presentation. If there are any doubts in preparation of 1 and 3B return or generation of e-way bill and e-invoices, please let me know before we close our session.
Any other questions, students? No other questions, Bona. You can, in case you have anything to proceed, you can proceed.
Okay. Okay, Madhu, I think I have come up with the end of my presentation. We'll just close the session.
Tilaka, can you propose the vote of thanks?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, all. On behalf of Chengalpattu branch, I thank CA Bhuneshwari ma'am for taking us to the insight of GST portal and explaining all the practical aspects. Thank you, ma'am. I thank you, CA Satyanarayanan sir, our branch chairman, and CA Madhumita ma'am, Sikasa chairman, for organizing this wonderful program. Our branch is also conducting another half-a-day seminar, which is planned on 28th May 2022 on the topic effective use of TDS portal. Will be discussed by CA Anand sir. So I request all the students to utilize this opportunity. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all.
Thank you all. Thank you, Sikasa Chairperson, CA Madhu, and thank you our branch chairman, Satya sir, for giving me this opportunity to have a practical interaction with you all. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, CA Veda, for being there, student committee chairman. Thank you, ma'am. க்ளோஸ் பண்ணிடலாம் மேடம்.